If you struggle with shyness or social anxiety, check out our free No BS training course with actual useful advice you can do from home. None of that just get out there nonsense. The link is in the description below. For now, let's get to today's question.
The question, what are the causes of social anxiety and avoidant personality disorder? Answer by John Kyle. Some mental health disorders mark such a stark departure from normal human experiences that it can be difficult for people who don't suffer from the condition to imagine what it's even like. Most, however, are not foreign entities, but are an intensification of emotional and behavioral experiences so common they can be considered nearly universal. Social anxiety is perhaps the most obvious example of this phenomenon. You would be hard-pressed to find someone who has not felt some form of social fear, either transient or enduring, specific or generalized. As such, most people exist somewhere along the spectrum of social anxiety that ranges from common, non-pathological expressions of social worry to paralyzing manifestations of all-encompassing social phobia that severely impair everyday function. When extreme social fear coalesces with overwhelming insecurity and feelings of inadequacy, it moves beyond the realm even of social anxiety disorder and takes on a new name, avoidant personality disorder. Good place to learn how to overcome social anxiety. Avoidant personality disorder, APD, is a mental health disorder defined by extreme social anxiety combined with a distorted and painful self-image that violently disrupts everyday function. While people with social anxiety disorder may experience difficulties with social interaction to varying degrees, social anxiety disorder itself does not require the presence of a specific type of relationship with oneself. Even generally confident people with healthy self-esteem and reality-based self-images can struggle with the condition. In contrast, people with avoidant personality disorder have fundamental feelings of inadequacy and inferiority that drive them toward extreme social inhibition as they seek to avoid rejection, embarrassment, and judgment. The symptoms of APD can wreak havoc on your ability to live a normal life, and even the most basic tasks of everyday living, such as holding a job or interacting with family, can feel impossible. As Samantha Gluck writes, avoidant personality disorder permeates every aspect of a person's life. People suffering from it cannot stop dwelling on their own perceived shortcomings. They rarely form relationships, but when they do, they only interact with people they strongly believe will not reject them. Rejection and embarrassment are so intensely painful for people with avoidant personality that they choose loneliness rather than take the risk. However, people with avoidant personality disorder are not misanthropes or simply loners. Do you want and even crave social connection, but your disorder keeps you from being able to participate in healthy social interactions? The causes of APD are not fully understood, but researchers believe that biological and experiential factors both play a role in the development of the disorder. As noted by the Cleveland Clinic, the fact that avoidant personality disorder occurs more often in certain families suggests that a tendency to develop the disorder might be passed on in families through their genes. The disorder itself is likely triggered by environmental influences such as parental or peer rejection, which can impact a person's self-esteem and sense of worth. Studies on twins have revealed that genetic factors account for half the variance in avoidant personality disorder. For many, however, painful formative experiences of trauma, neglect, and rejection by family members or peers appear to lie at the heart of the condition. People diagnosed with avoidant personality disorder report high rates of childhood physical and emotional abuse, which can disrupt healthy psychological development and impair your ability to form healthy, strong attachments while simultaneously causing you to internalize criticism and shaming. Gluck explains, children naturally want to bond with their parents, but due to the constant parental rejection and ridicule, it's virtually impossible for a healthy bond to form. This leaves these children hungry for close relationships, yet lacking the skills to form and maintain them. They begin to develop a protective psychological shell that shields them from further parental ridicule and rejection. The resulting social awkwardness may cause peers to tease and ridicule them as well, contributing to the intense fear of social interactions. In other words, avoidant personality disorder is a form of self-preservation in response to overwhelming distress and the lack of healthy alternatives. This phenomena goes some way towards explaining why avoidant personality disorder typically emerges in childhood or adolescence and intensifies with time as maladaptive patterns strengthen and become deeply integrated into your psychological makeup. It also clarifies the high rate of comorbidity with PTSD. Answer by Jack Wu. I would say genetics. When a child is born, you can slowly see how his personality is already formed in the first 23 years of his life. Some children are naturally more gregarious, while some kids are more introvert. Some little ones are fearful and constantly bump into things, while others are careful and sensitive. However, there is something to be said about how parents then respond to these innate qualities can influence how these kids grow up. For example, let us say a child is shy and is afraid of speaking up in class. In order to help the child come along, the parents can try to put her in a private school setting where she would get more individual attention. And let us say that the child loves to sing, then to overcome her social anxiety, the parents can incorporate more play dates into the child's life and encourage her to sing in front of her friends. Yes, the child may be shy or anxious to raise her hand in class. But that does not mean you cannot cultivate her strengths, be it singing or performing, to help overcome her weaknesses. Answer by Rain Tasha Herbert. It's nature and instinctive. I think this is a primal leftover from hunter-gatherer times when people lived in fear of war, predators, famine, storm, etc. There were tight communities and people living in them were wary of strangers, sometimes afraid of them. It also points to hereditary memories from ancestors who lived during rough times of war and being invaded by other tribes and getting killed. As a small child, I used to hide upstairs when someone came to visit. Why? I was scared of this invader and frightened they might kill me. Ever since then, even learned to be wary of people. I come from a large family and witnessed all the infights and backstabbing going on, that I don't want in my life. So what causes social anxiety and avoidance is the human instinct to avoid strangers, to avoid danger as there are dangerous people out there. Also, being among crowds makes my hair stand up on end and I feel so stressed and angry, I want to escape. Passing clubs, busy pubs, parties, it makes me feel a sense of panic and fear as potentially there are murderers and rapists in there. So it's a protection feeling against dangerous invading tribes and to keep away from everyone. I don't believe humans are a social animal. But I do believe humans are a warlike animal, as everyone enjoys fighting, picking fights, hurting others, arguing, squabbling and ganging up on someone. For this reason, I prefer to keep away from that warlike species.